Hello builders, and welcome back to the World Zoo project, the giant zoo where I built a habitat for every animal in the game. And in today's video I will be building for you the ocelot and our sweet little critter campground. Now if you haven't watched any of the other speed builds in this area, this whole critter campground area came about because, well, there was a DLC that added a bunch of North and South American animals, and this zoo has been worked on for months, and the North and South American sections were already built, so I had to make a whole new area just to fit them in. Thus was born the idea for the critter campground, a nice little area where guests can come see some animals, stay in some tents overnight, and then explore the zoo in the morning, because after all, this zoo is large enough that you're probably not going to be able to see it all in one day. But if you don't believe me, why don't you just click that link in the description down below and download this zoo yourself, and if your computer can handle it and open it, then walk around for a while and see how long it takes to see all the animals in the zoo. And while you're down in the description, might as well just click that Twitch button and join me over there and come see what I'm building. I don't play much Planet Zoo so much these days on Twitch, as I've already finished my huge project, but I do play a lot of other weird building games. Anyways, enough rambling, let's get on to the building now, shall we? I start off the build by creating a couple walls, some of them with glass, some without, and then copying and pasting them around it to create a structure. And what is this structure? Well, this will allow guests to come inside and look at the ocelots. While they are sleeping indoors, we'll have a bunch of climbing frames for them, as well as another path going towards the center of their habitat, where guests can have a nice 360 view of their tropical environment. And while most of this is going to be built out of wood, I wanted to add in a few little bits of color, specifically just trying to replicate the ocelot's color even just a little bit with some yellow stripes. And trying to add a little bit more flair and realism to the interior, I start copying some of these pillars from the walls and moving them around to make it look like they are supporting the ceiling that will be going in a little bit later. Again, just using the old copy paste to make this building go up a lot faster than if I was trying to put down everything individually. Now it's time to do my signature move for these cat habitats. I always love using these glass domes and having climbing frames going around them. That way guests can feel like the cats are climbing all around them. I've done this for all the cats, whether it's the tiger, the cougars, the leopards, the jaguars, all of them. They all get this similar treatment. Although the style of the building probably will change, the design is usually the same for all of them. We simply get this long tube of glass, put a bunch of climbing frames around it, and then it goes into a center chamber where, again, the ceiling is made of glass, and we have an area above the guests where the cats can hang out. As you'll see, we put in that glass ceiling, put in some beams to make it look like it's a little bit more supported, and then from there we'll just put in all the climbing frames. And that way the cats can just look down at the guests, lick their lips, and just hope that they can eat them. Well, actually, maybe that's more true for the larger cats. Ocelots are pretty small. If anything, they probably just feel safe and secure being above these weird hairless monkeys that are always staring at them. Now all that's left to do is add in the roof. We'll start by walling off the sides and adding in some details before copying and pasting it around. Although, of course, before we add in the roof, I gotta add in all the climbing frames. I have to say, another good building tip I have for you is never do a roof until you've made sure the interior is all complete. After all, once you add that roof on, doing the insides can really suck. Since moving the camera around in tight spaces can really be annoying in games like this, it's better just have a nice vantage point from outside rather than having to fiddle with the camera while trying to play stuff. And once you have everything complete and in the right spot, then throw your roof on and you'll be good and happy. And here's a good tip for you that I neglected, and it was a real pain to fix. But before I did all these climbing frames, I should have selected all of the building and disabled climbing on it. After the fact, I realized I didn't do this, and all those wooden frames I had put down were climbable by the animals, which meant that they could get on them and they could clip inside the glass and glitch out and escape. And it took me forever to fix it. Luckily for you, I am not going to have to put all that in the video, but just talking about it is enough to give me nightmares once again. So learn from your buddy Stone and make sure to really sort out your climbing frames before you start adding in even more details. And speaking of details, I always like adding in a little bit extra to the roofs. Even if it's just these wooden panels, it adds just a little bit of character to the building and just breaks up that boring old roof texture. Now, let's get on to the rest of this, where we are now going to start building in the sleeping area for our little kitties. Now, the ocelots will be sleeping inside of this man-made cave, where we are going to decorate with some rocks along the wall and add in all their climbing frames, along with a small little window that they can climb out of. And the larger door that you see there, that is going to be for the keepers, because after all, the keepers aren't going to be able to crawl through that door to get in and out of the habitat. And very quickly, I adjust the stone color to match the rock color as close as I can. That way it looks like the man-made walls blend in with the rock, again just creating that look of being a more natural cave for the ocelots. To start off the climb frames, I take one of these leafless trees, sink them down into the ground, and then from there we'll just add in some climb frames all over the place, making sure to give the animals lots of space to go up and down and climb around and just have an overall good time. And like the climbing frames we did inside that little glass ceiling area, I am making sure to do all of this and the detailing before we put the roof on it. After all, putting the roof on this and trying to build all these climb frames would be next to impossible, or at the very least very infuriating with the way the camera works. With all of the climb frames and those stalactites and mites in, it's time to add in the rock ceiling to blend it all together, again making it look like a cave before we bring the mountain in over top of it. I'll just put a quick layer of dirt above it, and then later we'll decorate with some rocks. But real quick, let's just jump over here and continue the viewing areas before we get onto all that sexy rock work. Now I'm just creating a simple path on the edge of the main path. This will allow guests to come up and take a look at the ocelots from a different angle. And going for that real natural look, I'm going to be using mostly rocks to decorate it with some glass panels in between them. That way the ocelots will feel a little bit more comfortable coming up here and just hanging around. I'll even make a small little cubby area with some sleeping grass for them to rest on. And now it's that part of the video where we just sit back and relax and listen to some nice Planet Zoo music while we do the rock work. So everyone, I'll see you in a few moments. Just sit back and enjoy some waterfalls and some rocks as we go about and just really get that foundation in for the rest of the habitat. Just like that, all of the rocks are done, and we can start adding in some details, specifically with the trees. We're going to decorate the outside of the habitat with trees, making it look like one big jungle, when in reality it's really just a fancy wall. A fancy wall with the purpose of making guests, well, like I just said, make them feel like they're out in the jungle and the wilderness. And besides, I don't think the animals mind either. It makes them probably feel a little bit more comfortable, more like their natural environment, rather than being stuck in a stuffy old zoo. And because I just really love decorating things and incorporating my buildings into nature, we're just going to add in some trees and some roots along the side of this building before we move on to do all the climbing frames for the ocelots. Now there are several ways you can work on climbing frames, and I've tried many different methods throughout my time in Planet Zoo, but one tried and true method I usually settle on is to just create a few large platforms, kind of spaced out, and then work on all the little conjoining twisting pieces between them. I find it a little bit easier for planning out that way, and then I can just finagle things a little bit here and there as I go, such as when I'm trying to connect them and I need them to be spaced out a little bit more, but at least having the larger frames in place will just help out in the long run. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, I had some problems with the Ocelots just being able to escape. I don't feature in this video, but there was quite a bit of moving of climbing frames to prevent them from escaping and glitching through the walls. You gotta be really careful with your climbing frames in situations like this, as if they are a little too close to the walls, they'll be able to clip through them. It's just a weird glitch of Planet Zoo, and it's something I hope the devs fix in Planet Zoo 2. But until then, we're gonna be stuck with what we got in this game. So again, just be careful with those climbing frames and those glitching escapes. And now with all those climb frames mostly done, let's move on and get around to decorating the rest of the habitat. We are going to start off by just adding in a bunch of plants around the waterway and then moving throughout the rest of the habitat after that. My go-to method when decorating plants is to usually start by placing all the larger trees, which we have already done earlier, and then work your way down slowly. We'll go down through the bushes now, and after that we'll start on the grasses. Always work on the large stuff first and then add in all the details afterwards. That at least is my tried and true method, and it seems to work pretty well for me at least. Especially when it comes to doing the grasses. I don't like using the grass from the terrain menu, as I feel like it's a little wispy and doesn't really feel like a lush grass that I would normally like to add into these habitats. That's why I use the grasses from the nature menu. It takes a little bit longer placing them down, but oh boy do they look a lot better. Especially if you end up layering a few other plants into them, such as some flowers or even just some different colored grasses as well. In the end, it didn't take that long to place all the plants in this habitat. After all, since the ocelots are pretty small, they didn't need that big of a habitat. So really most of the work for this build went into creating the climbing frames and the viewing area for the guests. Now the only thing left is to create a quick sign so guests walking by know what animals are located in here. So while we build that sign, let me do a quick outro, as the end of the video is coming and we will end it with a beautiful cinematic road tour. So builders, if you enjoyed this build, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and do all those YouTuber things, as it helps out the channel and gets this out to new people. And if you are a new person and this is your first video, well, thanks someone in the past for liking, commenting, and subscribing, because that just helped the algorithm get to you. And you can pass it on by just doing the same. And don't forget to look in the description to download the zoo yourself or check me over on Twitch. Okay, enough rambling. Like I said, this was a quick outro. So builders, I hope you have a good one. Goodbye!